Today, let's explore the seaside villa of Nero in Antium, his birthplace.
The Emperor Nero was born here in Anzio. So was before him Caligula. And what we have as the remains of that occupation is an extraordinary seaside villa on a parallel of what you have in the Missions Villa and Palace on the Palatine Hill. You can see the remains right here on the beach today, and of course in the same beach in World War II. This was where the Allied forces had their beachhead and then fought their way to free Rome.
Ancient Antium was founded by the Volscians, an Italic people, and they ruled it until it was conquered by the Romans in 338 BC. It had a good natural harbor, and they made it into a colony and then a municipium, and it was used as one of several Republican harbors ferrying goods to Rome, from Puteoli, Terracina, Antium, and to Ostia. And in the Republican period, many of the wealthy had villas here on the seaside with a magnificent view from above the cliffs, like Maecenas and Cicero. It also had an imperial property as early as Augustus. It was a family villa. And thus, under the Julio-Claudians, it became an important seaside villa with these spectacular views over the cliffs. Caligula was born here. Nero was born here. He was here when the Fire of 64 broke out. It was a place that he obviously really enjoyed. And he decided to increase the value of the city of his birthplace. He built a magnificent villa, which was later added to by other emperors, like Hadrian, all the way through the Severans. We get a sense of how magnificent it was from the extensions along the coast, over 800 meters. Several statues were found here of great fame. The Maiden of Antium is now located in Palazzo Massimo. The Apollo of Belvedere, so famous, is located in the Vatican museums. And in the modern era, you have a whole series of frescoes were found from a room along the sea, which has beautiful renderings of animals, vases, and plants. Altogether, they give us a great idea of how luxuriously decorated the Villa of Nero was. And you can easily visit a lot of the materials from the villa in the local municipal museum located in Villa Adele of Anzio. Besides the villa, Nero also decided to give the city a more magnificent harbor. So he added massive moles made of the famous hydraulic concrete of ancient Rome. And many of the ruins of that harbor still stand today. This is an image of the harbor from the 17th century. And in this watercolor, instead, you have a copy of an ancient Roman fresco found in Antium that possibly depicts the city, the palace, and the decoration of the harbor, which also featured a separate island and also has this elongated pier decorated with a series of arches, underlining just how important the city had become to Nero and how much he invested in the site. What a thrill walking through portions of the Villa of Nero. This is an incredible site, and it still has that phenomenal view overlooking the sea. Pristine experience connecting you right to Nero. It's a beautiful day in Nero's villa. What a spectacular experience. And I'm right on top of the sea at the beach. So you can go along the beach today and see the ruins. You can see from on top. It is something that's attached to Nero's legacy, forever associated with him, even though emperors are using it for centuries afterward. The view from on top is magnificent, but let's go downstairs. We're going to walk right on the beach, and immediately we encounter ancient ruins. These belong to the portions of the port of that harbor that Nero constructed, still on water's edge, still resisting because of the magnificent hydraulic concrete.
So here we have an example of just how resistant the hydraulic cement was. You can see the different inclusions that's in the actual mortar, and then you see less resistant the tuff that over time is going to be exposed to the salt air and literally wear away. but they're all resting upon, come on closer here, you get to see these isosceles bricks. So these are the resistant bricks. You can see that the fired bricks are even more resistant than the mortar itself. But what an incredible situation we have here. The Roman architecture still resists and is enjoyed by beachgoers throughout the year. There's nothing like walking on the beaches of Anzio. You're going to the Imperial period, the time of Caligula and Nero, and you jump forward to World War II. And we have the famous beachhead, a precursor to Normandy.
It's such a treat to walk along the beach, normally filled with beachgoers in the summer months, but you look up at this awe-inspiring sight. Literally, the Palace of Nero sits atop the volcanic tuff. You can see the geology, you can see the magnificent remains of a structure that once accommodated countless guests of the emperors for centuries. Literally here we see the brickwork resting right atop a shelf of tuff.
It's really fascinating. You can just walk around here and you're on the tail end of the palace. It extended all the way to the water's edge, and there are staircases and there are water conduits and there are raised floors. So everyone was enjoying the performance that was offered by Caligula and Nero. And of course, a big protagonist in the whole experience is the view of the sea. When we think of Nero, we think of the Fire 64, we think of excess, we think of pageantry. Well, you have that pageantry and excess here. The magnificent ruins of the Villa of Nero are still on display along the Mediterranean. And so many phenomenal statues were found in Anzio and are in Rome in the National Museum. Gives you an idea of how magnificent and how beautifully, luxuriously decorated the villa once was. Anzio was a favorite of the Julio-Claudian emperors, and you have its most complete manifestation under Nero, and his villa became legendary, and that legend persists today. And Nero still watches over the ruins of the Mediterranean from the city of ancient Antium. This is Darius Arya, Darius Arya Digs. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on social media. It's all Darius Arya Digs. For Rome and Empire, from the ancient to contemporary.